Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer, dear listener, welcome yet again to another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. It's always a privilege to share life-changing business education, entrepreneurship education by bringing in industry leaders in various areas. And today I've invited Mr. Gurumoothi, and it's his second visit to the show, and I'd like for him to introduce himself. We're going to light up your entrepreneurial fire. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. But Mr. Guru, just for the benefit of those who did not watch you last time, would you care to introduce yourself?
With pleasure. It would be easier for them to go now and watch.
Yeah.
But in any case, my name is Guru.
Yeah.
And the surname is Gurumoothi. Right. So I'm an auditor. You can say I'm a public interest entity certified auditor registered with the Botswana Accountancy Oversight Authority. If you really want
the long version.
one.
Yes.
I'm a chairman of RSM Botswana, an internationally networked audit, tax and consulting firm in Botswana, which can give you the experience of the power of being understood. That's your motto. Punchline.
Okay.
The power of being understood. Okay.
And exactly what does your company do?
We do audit work, and we do tax work, and we do business consulting work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically our line. Yes.
We're going to talk about lighting up your entrepreneurial fire in terms of this book. Would you care to introduce the subject? Why the phraseology, lighting up your entrepreneurial fire?
Okay. Well, people do whatever they are good at or whatever they like to do to earn a living, but that is not enough to exist in this world, right? Because we live with people, and here in Botswana we live with people too, hard-working people. So we need to do something for them. I mean, we need to do justice for our existence in terms of lending a helping hand to those people around us. So in that spirit, I just founded a trust. It's called the Citizen Entrepreneurship Development Institute of Botswana. It's a trust. So in order to raise funds for that trust, I wrote this book so that people who buy the book or sponsor the book, whatever money they give, we can put it back in CEDIB, and then we can dedicate the proceeds to the entrepreneurial cause or entrepreneurship development cause in Botswana. So that's the reason for the trust and for the book.
Okay.
Yes.
Just so I know you have known you for decades, but the viewer may not know. Just tell us about your business journey in a nutshell, and help the listener understand why you believe, as I do, that you're an authority on the subject of entrepreneurship.
My entrepreneurship journey, is that what you want to know?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I came to Botswana in 1984, right? In February, on the 7th, about 11 o'clock, when the airport was still somewhere near the stadium.
Near the university.
Yeah, that's right. That's when I came. So this is my 37th year. So my journey started in November 1984. So that's when I became an entrepreneur. So for a brief period of about 6 or 8 months, I was working for Acumen, which is called Grand Thornton today. That's right. So my journey started in 1984. 85, and it has continued. I have not done anything else other than running that firm and growing that firm.
When you left Grant Thornton Acumen,
Yes.
you opened RS.
That's right.
Okay, what does the R stand for? RS?
There is no real big expansions. It all signifies the names of the original founders who no longer exist, except for M, which is McGladrey, which was called McGladrey in the US. So everyone has changed the name to RSM.
Oh, I see.
So RSM is like KPMG, and if you go into details of what is K and P and M and G, well, it will be Pete, Mavic, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not, normally it's not done.
Yeah. I know in the old days there was Guru and Associates.
When I started, it was called Guru Group or Gurumoothi and Associates and all that. But then it was like an individual practice. So audit is not done normally qualitatively if you just operate as a sole trader or a sole practitioner. So audit is a joint process involving many brains.
Yeah. And you did specific services in that business for entrepreneurs when they set up. What were the services? I mean, that, in my view, is what really positioned you well
You are right.
in entrepreneurship.
You are very right. As an auditor, of course, you get the privilege of seeing enterprises grow. But more importantly, when entrepreneurs come to us with a thought, with an idea, right? It's like admitting your child to the nursery school. So we become the nursery school headmasters and teachers, and then we grow that idea and we give it back to them. The parents come and take the children back, you know. We have seen entrepreneurs grow. So what we do is to create businesses. We form companies. We certainly obtain all the necessary licenses and permits and all that. And of course we also give them, make applications for land or even post boxes or whatever they may need. We assist them, and more importantly, we do coach them. Sometimes they come to us with some strategic questions on the products or market. So we don't normally tell them it's not my jurisdiction. So I tell them, although I'm not an expert in business strategy and all that, as an auditor, I can share with you my experience. Entrepreneurs learn when you share your experience, not when you train or teach. So I share my experience with them. I hope it has helped.
So you give them your special insights. I think an analogy could be given where a doctor does an X-ray of the business and then is able to explain, reads that chart and explain what it means.
That's right.
Is that a correct analogy?
Yeah, you are right. Absolutely. Absolutely,
okay. Now, let's talk about the entrepreneurial fire now. Let's go deeper. You said that CEDIB is the reason you're doing this for, and that's where the focus is. I suppose a good question is, what is CEDIB and why this focus for CEDIB?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's it is a good one. Have you heard of B2B and B2C and all that? They say business to business, business to customer, B2G, you know? Business to government. But nobody talks of E to E. Have you heard E to E? E to E is entrepreneur to entrepreneur, right? So there is a space where I think, and we trustees in CEDIB think, that an entrepreneur can be created, can be grown, can be nursed by another entrepreneur. So we believe that entrepreneurs take care of entrepreneurs. All other people who help entrepreneurs are perhaps enablers, you know, but they are not the real ones to genuinely help an entrepreneur. So that's what we believe. So we want to occupy a predominant space in E to E space. We want to bring entrepreneurs together, the accomplished entrepreneurs and the desiring entrepreneurs. So we want to bring them together. You can say aspiring entrepreneurs. We want to bring accomplished and aspiring. That's a good idea. So we want to bring them together and then try to grow the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. So that is the main theme of Citizen Entrepreneurship Development Institute of Botswana. That's the theme. So if you remember E to E, then you can link it to CEDIB, and then you will make a picture of it. And then, of course, I can talk of initiatives and all that. what we do, but this is the overall constitutional jurisdiction.
Before we talk about initiatives, explain the entity itself. Is it a trust? Is it a company? Is it an association? Is it a society? Explain what the entity is.
Okay, so I know you are an attorney and you want to know the authenticity of the organization.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is a trust. It's registered at the High Court of Botswana. So I have the letter of authority that was given to us on the 5th of January 2021. So the trust formally is now an organization with the letter of authority from the High Court of Botswana, dated the 5th of January. I should have gotten it maybe on the 8th or 9th. Yes. So that's about the thing. And the trustees are Ray Charles Tiboni is one of our trustees. I'm a founding trustee or a founder trustee. You have Akhil Jinabai. He is one of our trustees.
Very senior lawyer.
Yeah, very senior lawyer. He is also one of our fellow trustees, yes. And you have Chris Bray, who is the managing partner of BDO, which also does audit work and all that. He is also another trustee, fellow trustee of this. And you have Shyam, and then Gopal. These two gentlemen are Shyam of Sunshine
I know both
and
gentlemen.
Gopal of Automaster.
Yes.
Yeah, these two gentlemen also are trustees because they were the past presidents of India Botswana Chamber of Industry, Commerce and Industry. So it's like they moved on to this CEDIB. So that is the organization, that is the legality of it. These are the trustees, and the space that we operate is E2E.
Okay. Yes. Now let's talk about E2E in terms of the specific initiatives that you've started on, or the ones that you've already completed, if any. Can you share with the viewer how far you are with those?
Okay. I can share with you our observations, right? So entrepreneurship education. Talk of education. Every university has a course on education, whether it is BOTO or ABM or anyone, BIUST, whether they teach engineering or commerce, they always have one course for entrepreneurship nowadays. Right?
Yes.
So it's taught. You have Botswana Open University, which was our old Bokodol, now it's BOU.
Yes.
It has got a lot of brilliant courses on entrepreneurship or aspects of entrepreneurship. You talk of marketing, you can take a course. So you have courses, and you also have BQA accredited course providers, so who specialize in giving you courses on entrepreneurship. So I think there is plenty of courses already available in terms of educating entrepreneurs, in terms of training entrepreneurs. But our concern is you became a lawyer because you did pupillage.
Yes.
I became a chartered accountant because I did articleship. So you have apprenticeship, you have internship.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So there is no such ship for an entrepreneur. So as soon as he gets trained,
there's no internship.
What is it? I mean, you are putting him straight in the ocean. Which is why we thought we should create this E2E space. So CEDIB, on behalf of CEDIB, we can request Mr. Accomplished Entrepreneur. He is an aspiring entrepreneur who needs you. We would like to match him with you. Can you adopt him? We don't want to use the word articleship, internship and all that. Whatever ship it is between both of them.
Mentorship.
Mentorship is a good idea. Coaching, I'll talk about it. But we don't want to tell an accomplished entrepreneur can be a mentor. Can you be a coach? He can be whatever he wants to be, so long as he accepts an association with the other aspiring entrepreneur without really boxing him into this and that. This was what CEDIB is trying to do. That's which when you create that internship culture, atmosphere, we believe that entrepreneurs can grow. It also creates an integration. Entrepreneurs are all accomplished people, successful people. They have their own kingdoms or queendoms, or they have their own spaces.
I like that, queendoms.
Yeah, but they need to come together, and it's nice to share ideas and all that. When you think of big companies, you think of boards and executive, non-executive. When you think of small businesses, you don't think like that. So you can put entrepreneurs together. So is this mentorship, I'll call it a mentorship program. Please.
Is it time bound? Are there rules? Are there regulations? How does it work?
What a pleasure. I mean, you are almost taking me to whatever I wanted to answer. So it's nice for you to lead me in that way.
Yes.
You need a rule book, right? Agreed, because entrepreneur will ask, what should I ask him? Or accomplished one will ask, what do you want me to do? The purpose of this book is to create that sort of a rule. You can just say, I wrote this book with something in my mind that this can become a basis for creating a rule book for that relationship. What is it that the giver should do and what is it that the taker should take is what I explained sort of in this book, so that when you see an aspiring entrepreneur, you don't think, he's not worth it. Or when he sees an accomplished entrepreneur, he doesn't think that he's too big for him. I know the whole idea is to get a sense of matching and a buy-in and things like that. So I wanted to assure the accomplished entrepreneurs that the seeker, or in your own words, the aspiring entrepreneur, certainly understands entrepreneurship. He has the mindset of being an entrepreneur because I'm sure he has read my book. That's the sort of an indication that I wanted to give, which is why I wrote this book.
Without giving away too much, because you obviously want people to buy the book, what are the basic key components that constitute the quote-unquote the rules? Yeah. I can tell you generally the logic or the main key aspects of that book. The first thing, it starts off with a chapter called you don't think that you should be born as an entrepreneur. I mean, if you still continue to think that entrepreneurs are born, unfortunately, you are wrong. So please drop that idea. It is totally untrue to think that entrepreneurs are born. Even if they are born in a family of entrepreneurs, I have seen many people who are born in the family of entrepreneurs who are now not an entrepreneur at all. They are just working elsewhere in parastatals and all that. Their dads are entrepreneurs. So nobody is born as an entrepreneur. You can be trained to possess that mindset of an entrepreneur. So that's how it begins. And then what are all the key components of the mindset? It might look a bit dry, but I am trying to make it as interesting as possible. It's like saying, think big, start small, and do now kind of a story. So do now is very important. That is true. So that's the mindset aspect. And then I'm talking about how do I get a brilliant idea, business idea? What are all the methods I must use? Then once I get a good business idea, how do I check it? Is it a good idea or a bad idea? Once I check that the idea is good, how do I implement it? Once I implement a good idea, how do I maintain it? So these are all the things that are discussed in seriatim, more or less in the same order. And of course, I must tell you that today we are talking of startups and angel investing and market growth, venture capital, and then users of millions and billions and all that, right? That's a different mindset though. So I need to caution you that this book is meant for SME type of entrepreneurs. Startups.
Where you look at the profits for the next 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years and capitalize, value it, start a business, things like that, like the way that I started or you are doing, not the startup tech kind of, but I devoted some pages to them for startups, just to tell them the difference between E2E space that I am trying to aspire for in terms of the book and the angel investing space, which is perhaps slightly outside the corridors of this book. So I have explained that is the content.
Well, here's a thought which you've listed as number 4 to deal with. The integration looks very ideal. How do you make it practical?
That E2E space, I was using the word integration to mean that you were using mentorship or apprenticeship, whatever we thought, the association, how do you make it happen? So I personally think that you need 2 or 3 things. First one is definitely the rule book. I don't Second one is like Friday advertiser, you know. You need a marketplace. Somebody has to say, I need this, I need this, I need this. Somebody else has to say, I have it, do you want it? We are not selling cars or plots. We are not selling capital, then it becomes an angel investing. I need money, can somebody invest in my business? It can also take place. So you need a marketplace. So in CEDIB, what we are trying to do is to create a marketplace. So if Friday advertiser, for example, allocates one page for this space, you know, where an entrepreneur can say, I want this, where another one can say, I can give this. That's exactly what we are looking for. And if
so, you provide linkages.
Yes, we provide linkages, and we provide this sort of a rule book.
Okay.
And of course, angel investing is all included in when you talk of the marketplace. Yes.
Okay. I know that the proceeds of this book go to CEDIB. Is that correct?
Very, very much.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, how do you intend to aggressively market the book? Because I suppose CEDIB really wants to raise significant funds that will impact whatever it is you're doing.
You remember my E2E space?
Yes.
I always depend on entrepreneurs, right? So not on, it's not to say that I don't depend on non-entrepreneurs, but
Yes.
I primarily depend on entrepreneurs for the success of whatever I have done or whatever I'm doing or whatever I will do, right? So that's the only, I'm part of that ecosystem. So what I'm trying to do possibly is to hold an event, maybe in your venue, and then call all the trustees of CEDIB and invite a prominent business person or couple of them, you know, and then talk to them, ask them to address an event, and we release the book, and we request the accomplished entrepreneurs to give some money, maybe 1,000, 2,000 pull or something like that, so that we can print some 10, 20, 30 copies and give it to the schools, you know, give it to the senior secondary schools. So when those kids who are 16, 17, 18 read it, they'll know what it is. Then we can request the universities to buy and all that. We can also train, we can also give it to the training institutions and all that, but we wouldn't like to really tell them, can you buy? We will rather request entrepreneurs to sponsor. We'll tell them, can we give it directly to the target audience? But we don't mind advertising that entrepreneur's business. Like if you give sponsor, for example, I will take your picture or your black or whatever is your brand, and I will make it as part of the book, and I'll give 20 copies to that school. I mean, it's fine. So this is what I'm thinking at this stage. But remember, I just can't decide for the trust. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking, but we trustees will meet and we will decide how to do it.
No, that makes sense. But I guess what I'm trying to get you to do is to pitch to the entrepreneur who might be watching and say, asking themselves, how can I be a part of this? How can I immediately do something? How would you respond? You can suggest, or you can comment or criticize as an entrepreneur. All are welcome. But what all I'm trying to do is to create vacuums that are existing in the E2E space. Can you help me achieve to do two things? Tell me how I can do this book better so that it can become a better rule book for bridging the gap in E2E space. Tell me, how do I create a marketplace? What help I can get from you to create this marketplace? If you can help me with that, I will be honored. I will be ever grateful to you. So this is a sort of an appeal. So really what you're saying is that you're saying to Mr. Entrepreneur, I've created a rule book, a blueprint, in more or less in preliminary draft form. Have a look at it, see where, if anywhere, you can punch holes, and let's see whether we can improve our entrepreneurial space together.
Absolutely.
And in that process, you have input from both aspiring and accomplished.
Perfect.
And then take it further.
Agreed. It's just my journey. But if I give it to you, then I will incorporate your journey. If I give it to Mr. Muni or Ram or anybody else, then I'll incorporate their journeys. You know, the whole idea is to enrich it with journeys of great people,
Yes.
so that it becomes Swana-ish. It is more applicable here.
Yes, yes.
And it appeals to this entrepreneurial system. Let me
Yes.
not use the word culture.
Yes, yes. And tell me, what are your plans beyond the book? If you can look, I suppose, 5-10 years ahead, if there are any plans yet.
We can take any route that comes from the entrepreneurship ecosystem, any route. People who favor marketplace route, we will take that route. People who favor multiple editions and enrichment or of this book, we can take that route. If people suggest something else, so long as we are in that space of E to E, and if we can add value to create synergies between entrepreneurs or between one entrepreneur and another, or one group and another, I think that is the next thing that we have to grow this entrepreneurship to. That's the next level.
You and I belong to an entity called Angel Network Botswana,
Yes.
A and B. And I know that there are connections, there are linkages between A and B and CEDIB. Do you mind sharing with the viewer what those linkages are and how the viewer, the entrepreneur, can take advantage of those?
Sure.
Suppose
I
the
can
starting
talk
point-
from the aspiring entrepreneur, then I will talk from the accomplished entrepreneur.
Yes.
Is that fine?
That's fine.
Okay, so let's assume that I am the aspiring entrepreneur, right? So if I need your advice, if I need your mentorship, if I need your guidance, if I need your consulting, if I need you to share your experience with me, for example, then I think you come into CEDIB space, because no angel will be interested in dealing with you if you don't give the angel equity. You get it? So there are lots of entrepreneurs who may not like to give equity, who may not like to invest money in the accomplished entrepreneur's business. They may not. It doesn't mean that they are bad entrepreneurs. I mean,
No.
it is just that they don't want to take that risk. It's fine if they don't take that risk. It's fine. In their wisdom, they are making that choice. But at least they can give whatever they can to grow enterprise in that accomplished entrepreneur. So the basic difference between an angel and an accomplished entrepreneur coming under the view of the CEDIB is, if he gives money plus A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever it is, he becomes an angel. If he gives B, C, D, E, F without A, which is money, then he becomes CEDIB. You see, whether I put money in your business or not, it what makes me an angel. But it doesn't mean that if I don't put money, I must refrain from doing anything.
If I understand you correctly, is that there's an overlap, but the emphasis for CEDIB is people seeking mentorship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mentorship,
Whereas
advice.
with an angel, mentorship is just an element, but they're more interested in equity, debt, whatever it is. They want a business involvement.
There is one secret thing, you know. Very clever entrepreneurs will start with not being an angel, right? It may be a testing ground. They may just even say that I'm just an advisor, don't expect anything from me, while they are still watching you, while they still may be interested in being an angel for you. So these things are quite possible. So we are creating a preparatory work through CEDIB, and angel investing is a structured organization with lots of rules and regulations, with lots of international guidance on how you conduct yourself as an angel. When you put money and when you give your network, when you give your advice, when you give your time, how do you deal with the other person? That's what Angel Network Botswana does, and I'm proud to be part of that. It's a pleasure. I mean, we both are angels in that sense. But when I wrote this book, I just was in another space where an entrepreneur can help another entrepreneur without having to feel that he is obligated to invest. Do you see? Yeah.
I think I'd be failing if I leave the discussion without trying to practicalize things. Somebody walking away from this interview, can they pick up a phone and get directly involved? Let's think of somebody coming straight out of school, out of UB, saying, I want to be mentored. I want to be trained, I have this wonderful idea. What action steps can they take immediately to take advantage of this platform?
You know, I coined a word, and the word is nothing but Swana plus entrepreneur put together. It's called Swanapreneur. So simply send an email to swanapreneur@gmail.com. It goes to all the 5 trustees, right? It goes to all the 5 trustees, and we immediately have meetings, electronic or whatever, and we reach out. And what we so far did was we advertised. This is when we were still not formally incorporated as an entity. We got some applications, we did some appraisals, we gave some results to them after the appraisal. These were all done as an unregistered entity. So whatever we are now going to do is going to be much, much more formal. And again, the whole initiative of this CEDIB, I must tell you that it has come from the current president of Botswana. So
His Excellency the President.
Yes, His Excellency the President of Botswana. When he was the Vice President of Botswana, I introduced this concept to him in one of the meetings of India-Botswana Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And then he took his pen and he said blessings, and then he signed. That's how the whole thing started. So we don't want CEDIB to go into wrong direction. So I'm trying to develop it with, I'm sure those blessings will work, and I will get lots of support from the entrepreneurship community or entrepreneurs.
So you know, at this point, the action steps to take is to inquire and to get in touch with the trustees.
Correct. And you have a website, www.swanapreneur.com. You can
say that again.
www.swanapreneur.com.
Okay.
And then that is the website. You have a Facebook, CEDIB has got a Facebook. You can approach through Facebook.
CED.
It's Citizen, that's right. Citizen Entrepreneurship Development Institute of Botswana.
Okay, CEDIB.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right. Last time when you were here, we didn't have this part of the show.
Yes.
Where you get to ask me one question of your liking. If I'm able to answer, I'll answer. This is your opportunity to ask me a question as the host of this show.
Please consider becoming one of the trustees of CEDIB. Because we can do, you are already working so much with me on mentorship, you know, in Angel Network, but then when we do mentorship there, remember our secret intention is to invest.
Yes.
So here we are doing more or less the same thing, with with less bias, or with more independence. You know, we are only mentoring. We don't have any pecuniary interest. So
yes. So
if
I'm already part of it. So
okay.
What is your question? Your question is, can I join?
Yes.
Well, I'll certainly consider it, because I think I'm already there. You and I are in the mentorship committee.
Thank you. Thank you. I will have to put it up with the fellow trustees, and they will send you an
take it from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, this is the part of the show where you look at that camera and talk directly to the entrepreneur and give them 2 or 3 points, words of wisdom, something to leave them with, you know, final word.
Oh, Mr.
Turn around and
Mr. Entrepreneur, you are already wiser than me, because you are an entrepreneur, or at least as wise as I am. So there's nothing big that I can tell you or talk to you. One thing as a reminder, because it's customary to say something before the show finishes. If you need any help as an aspiring entrepreneur, please find an accomplished entrepreneur. Will you do that, please? Don't run to anybody who is not an entrepreneur, and don't operate in vacuum. I know everyone sails in a boat of his own, but try to find another entrepreneur to work with, at least at a mentorship level. And Mr. Accomplished Entrepreneur, please seek an aspiring entrepreneur and please mentor him. Please. This is all I have to tell them. Thank you.
Okay. Now, say something about the book, because you need the proceeds, I think. You need to promote the book. I think that's what your concluding message should be about.
That is true. That is true. try your level best to sponsor the book, to buy the book, to promote the sale of the book, and we can advertise your businesses. It is not a problem. So let young people read, and they will let them get the mindset of being an entrepreneur from the young age. So help us do that. Thank you.
Okay, before you go, say something about your co-author, Koziba Kibi Sebina. How you got together and what was his role in writing this book?
It's right. Yeah, in fact, you, according to the rules of your show, you allow only one person. So that's exactly what I told Koziba. Otherwise, I would have come with him and he would have said a few more words about the book in a better way than me. So he literally, he's a mentor in his own right. He works for RSM now as he's our HR manager, but he's a mentor in his own right. And then he also has authored a book or a couple of them. So what he did was to read my book, and then he contributed to ideas, and he made it suitable to the people and the situation here. And then so that is the beauty. And then he ran to Shyam, who is another trustee. He made him draw pictures. So Shyam is an artist. So he said, unless I drew pictures, people won't read every English word. So let them understand something from pictures. So it was Koziba who was running to Shyam to make those pictures. And he also enriched the book, and he's a great guy. And I'm very pleased that he co-authored, he decided to co-author this book with me. Thank you.
Can I suggest something?
Please.
That you go on a tour to tertiary institutions to deliver talks on the book and to share some of these ideas to promote it. If nothing else, you'll be able to get potential mentees and show people that there's somewhere they can go when they are struggling once they get out of university to set up their businesses.
Thank you. That is a very, very good suggestion. You have already responded to my appeal to the accomplished entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It remains for me, Mr. Guru, to thank you so much for taking the time out. We know how busy you are to come and share with us on this show, sharing pearls of wisdom. Please, whenever we invite you, please come over to the Nuggets of Wisdom.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.